I like the Kirby series. It's one of my favorite game series ever created, and I want to talk about it this month because I did not have a Halloween video prepared, so whatever, I'm talking about the next best thing. Today, I want to talk about my favorite Kirby game, Kirby the Amazing Mirror, for no particular reason at all. I just really like the game series, and I want to talk about why my favorite Kirby game is the best one objectively. That word's lost all meaning. But wait, what is Kirby the Amazing Mirror? Kirby the Amazing Mirror is a GBA game made by Flagship. Flagship is a developer that hasn't really made too many games. They made a few Resident Evils, and they made the Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. They also made two Kirby games, Kirby the Amazing Mirror and Kirby Squeak Squad. The story of the Amazing Mirror is pretty complex and multi-layered, but I'll keep it as simple as possible. Basically, there's an evil reflective pizza that's up to no good, so Midnight goes to investigate it. Unfortunately, he gets trapped inside of the pizza and it gets sliced into 8 different pieces. So it's up to Kirby and Kirby and Kirby and Kirby to gather up all of the pizza slices and stop Papa John once and for all from being the #1 distributor in pizza. This video isn't sponsored, I swear. Yeah, I was joking about the deep multi-layered part. There's not too much to any Kirby stories. It's just simple fun. And the story really isn't that involved in this game. It's more of just a means to an end. The real focus of this game is trying to navigate this world. The map in Kirby the Amazing Mirror is really big. Kirby the Amazing Mirror attempts to be a Kirby take on a Metroidvania, I think. I haven't played too many Metroidvanias, so don't quote me on that. It is definitely a strange take, especially since in Metroidvanias you have to gather powers and then constantly backtrack to access more areas with your powers, whereas Kirby the Amazing Mirror is pretty open. You can go to any location and fight any boss in any order you want, making this more of an open world sort of game, but then again, it's not completely open. You're restricted to all of the rooms, so it's not like a big open area. It's more like you can go to these specific areas. But it is open in the sense that you can fight any boss in any order you want, and accessing these areas only requires specific copy abilities, and the game doesn't really have any permanent upgrades that Kirby gets, except for increase of life, but that isn't really necessary to beat the game. So copy abilities are used to access most collectibles or extra areas. And if you ever don't know what copy abilities to use in an area, there's always a boss or an enemy conveniently placed somewhere nearby that you can use, though sometimes the game expects you to keep the copy ability for long stretches of time. Even then, most areas are opened up, so you can go through them with any copy ability you want. The way they make this difficult is by making it so navigating the maps are really painful to do. Actually, not really painful, more annoying and tedious. Mostly talking about Cabbage Cavern and Onion Ocean, but this also goes for Candy Constellation. Cabbage Cavern and Candy Constellation both have a problem where you will constantly be circling in the same area over and over again unless you know exactly which mirror room to go into, or you have looked in a map, because if you don't, you are going to be very confused. Candy Constellation is the least confusing. You just have to know that there's a pathway above this bomb blocks right here, and if you destroy them, they will block off the top path. When you go through the top path, there's going to be a mirror room connected to the hub world, and from there, it's a straight shot to the top. Pretty simple. Then there's Cabbage Cavern. This one isn't too confusing either, it's just a little annoying because the way to get there is to get through this bonkers, which looks like a boss fight that you go through and then enter a big mirror door that will just send you back to the main hub world, which there's a lot of those, so if you've been making progress in this game, you might see this area and be like, oh great, I'm gonna be sent back to the entrance, might as well try to take another pathway, and in that case, you're gonna keep on circling around the same 8 areas. And then there's Olive Ocean. there are 3 really easy dead ends. I'd say it isn't really too difficult to navigate. The main problem is trying to get there in the first place, as you have to go to this specific room and then go through this specific doorway very out on the right side, which I have missed multiple times very easily. Actually, now that I think about it, really every area in the game has its own different sort of maze-like feature, whether it being a single room or multiple rooms that sort of confuse you when trying to navigate them. Like Carrot Castle's cannon room. It isn't all too bad though. It is pretty easy to accidentally stumble across a map that allows you to see where you're actually going and where you're going to be forced into. So as long as you know how to read the map, you should be fine. But then there are some rooms where multiple pathways go into the specific room that has all the treasures, and good luck finding out which entrances you need to go through. This room connects to another room and the treasure room, but it only has one doorway. I wonder where the secret doorway is. Yeah, that's right, you need to float really high into this specific little corridor that you would pass like 5 times before looking it up and realizing how dumb getting up here is. Now, some of these dumb treasure locations aren't exclusive to Amazing Mirror. I get it, I've played Return to Dreamland. I'm just talking about this one specifically because I've played this game 11 times and I need somewhere to vent. But oh silly me, I haven't talked about the copy abilities yet. That's the most important thing about the Kirby game, not the spray paints that are actually the coolest feature and I wish they were brought back. No, we're talking about the copy abilities. Each game will bring its unique set of copy abilities as well as copy and pasted copy abilities, except Kirby the Amazing Mirror is very copy pasted from Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, the GBA game that dropped right before it.
Oh, now I see the difference.
Now, this makes sense. It's very easy to just take the code from one game and put it to another, especially since both of these games are very similar. I do wish, however, that they made some of the other copy abilities good. There's not really that many good copy abilities in this game. A lot of them keep you static or don't have that much range or exist only to be puzzle solving fodder, or it's the mini ability, the worst copy ability ever created. A copy ability that is, if you 100% the game, only used 3 times. It doesn't have any benefits for using it for prolonged periods of time. It's just there to get to one specific area, get one specific thing, and get another specific thing. Now, not a lot of these copy abilities have too much about them to say. You look at stone, and yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. You turn into rock. But I do want to talk about a few of my favorite copy abilities. Wheel is the best copy ability in the game, and I refuse to hear any rebuttal. Smash is another fun copy ability where the only way to get it is by beating Master Hand. This gives several lore implications. Is Smash Bros. Canon in the Kirby universe? I'm not going to bother with that. I'll let the other 3 Kirby Amazing Mirror fans talk it out. Smash just takes Kirby's moveset from Smash 64 and integrates it into the game, and I think it's really fun. And it also has a lot of different uses, not as many uses as the Master ability. This item is only obtained after you beat the game and Meta Knight drops his sword on the pedestal below the titular Amazing Pizza. The sword is effectively the jack of all trades, literally does everything, puzzle solving tool in case you need to go and get all the other collectibles and 100% the game, and you just want to skip through all of the monotonous grabbing a specific copy ability. Listen, I get it. I like this sword a lot. It does sort of feel cheap using it though. If you want a diet version of that, there's the UFO copy ability, which does basically the same thing and also lets you fly, which is something that Kirby infamously cannot do. Another copy ability that gives Kirby this overpowered feat is the Cupid ability, and that's basically all it's used for. I really like the design of the Cupid ability, and I think it's really cute, but it's also one of the other most useless copy abilities in the entire game. Like, there is no use for this. This is just copy ability fodder to fill up a list. They should have put high jump in this. Here's a shout out to high jump. I used to not really think high jump was that cool of a copy ability, and then I started using it more, and I really like high jump, and I wish Kirby the Amazing Mirror had high jump. Another shout out to burning. It's really fun copy ability, but I hate the ending lag because you are very open to any attack if you just barely don't hit something right in front of you. It has happened to me on multiple occasions. Okay, I think I should actually talk about the collectibles in this game about getting all the collectibles. Kirby the Amazing Mirror introduces spray paints, which are a really cool collectible, and the coolest collectible. I will die on this hill. Spray paints change the color of Kirby. I mean, what else do you need me to say? It's a perfect idea. And also, all the spray paints are really cool, and I wish there were more spray paints added to future games. I mean, there were added to Squeak Squad, but then after Flagship got assimilated into Capcom, spray paints weren't a thing anymore, and that kinda sucks, because I think the feature is really cute, and it's also really cool. I like Carbon Kirby a lot. I liked it so much that I wanted to see how fast I could get Carbon Kirby. And it's just also a really fun feeling when you find a spray, and then you reset the game, and then see what the spray looks like. Other than that, you have some music cards that let you do the sound test, and you also need to unlock the sound test, which is trapped inside of a chest. That's really funny. And then there's extra hit points and maps. Overall, the collectibles are really fun to get, and they're really fun to find, and really fun to look for, and the game is really fun. And I did forget one other collectible. Of course, we gotta talk about the pizza slices, but in order to get the pizza slices, you have to go through the bosses. We should talk about them. For some reason, this game doesn't have an arena mode, and that confuses me because every Kirby game has an arena mode, except this one, I guess. That's really unfortunate, though. I like Fan a lot. This is a segment dedicated solely for Fan. I like it. It's a cute elephant thing that throws apples and is cute. And the segment is also dedicated to hating Boxer. For some reason, Wispy Woods was not put in this game. He was replaced with a wall. That's confusing me. Why was Wispy Woods replaced with a wall? I don't know. He kinda sucks. The other bosses are sort of fine, nothing too much to talk about. I do like Metal Titan's fight quite a lot because his gimmick is very unique as a Kirby boss, but he doesn't really have too much to say about. You just have to knock him back into the metal walls or do electric damage to him. That's pretty much it. Papa John is also a fun fight, but I kind of find his first form gimmick annoying, where he will die and then teleport away, and then you have to go through a little segment of level and then go back to fighting him in the main arena. Doesn't bother me too much, and I do get it. They wanted to give him more move sets and more ways to shoot stars. Unfortunately, I've beaten Papa John way too many times, so I already know every single part of his moveset. Though I do find Papa John's pizza to be quite a fun fight. I find it really enjoyable trying to destroy his mirrors so I don't get hit by them, and then them splitting up into 4 different cutters, and him just throwing around mirrors everywhere, shooting giant lasers. Sometimes he'll just flip the entire screen. I like Papa John's pizza fight a lot, and I think the final shoot 'em up section comes out of complete nowhere, but I think it's a pretty good end to a very strange game in the Kirby series. Kirby the Amazing Mirror is quite a strange entry, and I completely recommend it to anybody. For this last segment, I also want to say I completely recommend speedrunning this game as well. This game got me into speedrunning games in the first place, and while I've never actually gotten any good times, I still find it really fun to beat this game as fast as possible and try to make your own routes on beating this game. And that's the video. I'm gonna be honest, I sort of wish I talked about multiplayer a little bit, but I had no way to do that as I don't have a GBA or a link cable or a Nintendo Switch, and also I'm stuck in the underworld, so I can't really play with anybody. I guess I could have had 4 separate GBA screens playing at the same time and just bound them all to the same keys, but that would also be a nightmare to play. Anyway, I love Kirby the Amazing Mirror. It's my favorite Kirby game and one of my favorite games in general, and I played it a whole lot during school. it was a great time waster. I totally recommend this game. It's a whole lot of fun to waste a lot of time on, and I would know. Anyway, I don't know if I'm gonna do a video for next month. I have sort of a big video planned for December, or at least a video that takes a lot of working on, I think. And also, I'm sort of getting tired of doing monthly uploads. That's sort of putting a strain on me, so I might stop doing that. I don't know. We'll see how things go. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I'm now gonna go try to figure out how to escape this place. So, I don't actually know where to start. Where do I go? Where am